What can a career path in accounting look like? My name is Katherine. I'm a CPA and your accounting tutor, and today I have another special video for you. As you might already know, I recently attended a personal finance conference called Camp Fi, and while there, I had the opportunity to sit down with my friend Alise Jackson to ask her about how she got into accounting and what her career path has looked like so far. I've put her link in the description if you want to connect, and with that, let's dive in.
Hey, Alise, thanks so much for sitting down with me today.
Yeah, thanks, Katherine. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So why don't you go ahead and start by introducing yourself, who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Alise Jackson. I'm a lot of things. I am retired after a 24-year career in corporate accounting and finance. Currently, I own a consulting company where I do personal financial coaching, as well as small business bookkeeping and accounting consulting.
Okay. So what made you want to go into accounting?
So I took my very first accounting class my junior year of high school.
Okay.
Which is really early from
It
what
is.
I gather from people now.
Not many high schools offer that.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful that mine did, and I took it as an elective course,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it. And I think up until then, I had never considered that as a career, but I absolutely loved that course. I part of it was I loved the teacher, but I just really was interested in it. And then they had like a second level of it that I was able to take my senior year. So I actually got to take like 2 years of accounting while I was still in high school. And it really piqued my interest and kind of just put me on that course into college.
Yeah, nice. And so you knew from day one, freshman year, that you were going to be an accounting major?
Yeah, I mean, I just really never kind of looked back on that. I think I always had an interest in business.
Mm.
It was just kind of solidified that concentration of a business degree.
That makes sense.
So I was not one of those people that changed my majors a lot or anything like that. I just kind of went into it with accounting and finished that way.
Well, great.
Yeah.
So with that amount of focus, I'm wondering, did you decide to get your CPA, and why or why not?
I did not. When I was taking accounting courses in college,
Mm-hmm.
we have options for different types of focuses and different types of electives. I didn't really enjoy tax.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really enjoy audit. I didn't really enjoy business law and kind of that kind of stuff. What I really, really loved was things like cost accounting and general accounting and just really like the business side of it. And I liked some of my other business, non-accounting business classes too. I really liked just the idea of understanding the nuts and bolts of businesses and industry. And so I don't remember exactly who I talked to or why, but kind of found out that there were other career paths other than
Just the standard tax or audit.
going into, back then it was the Big 8 and then the Big 6, the Big 4,
Mhm.
whatever, and going the tax and audit route. And I just never had any interest in that. But I think I always knew, hey, it's something I could always do later if I want to. But I didn't have that trajectory where I wanted to graduate from college and go work for an E&Y or a Deloitte or anything like that. I kind of wanted to go into industry and into business and just see that side of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so what has your career path looked like post-graduation to now, if you could give us the broad strokes?
Yeah, how much time do we have? Wow, that's a lot of years. So what that looked like is coming right out of college, I interviewed with various companies in different industries and took a job for a distribution and manufacturing company as a basically kind of like a costing type accountant. It was like
Okay.
an entry-level accountant job.
Okay.
And worked my way, a couple of years with that company into more of like a financial analysis job. But it was a small company and I was doing still a lot of general ledger accounting, but also kind of really helping them do analysis to improve some things in the business.
That was going to be my question. If that financial analyst took you away from the accounting side and the debits and credits, or if that was still
A little bit,
part
but I
of
still
it.
had some element of that to my job. But it did kind of start to divert me that way
Mhm.
because it was a need that they had, but I didn't love it. And also with it being a small company, I was about a year and a half out of college. I was working directly for the controller who worked directly for the president. So at that early part of my career, I didn't see a real clear path of growth for me.
Mhm.
I think I probably could have grown with the company, but I didn't see this like, oh, I can get promoted to this next level and this next level. Like I was working for the senior financial person in the entire company and then the president.
Yeah,
There
and
weren't a lot of stepping stones. And I think I wanted to be in a bigger environment at that time, a bigger company where I could really see some career trajectory of promotions and working my way up and learning things. And so I left there after about 2 years and went to work for a large transportation company in California and started out as a senior level accountant. And that is where I could see some stepping stones in my career. Promoted to an accounting supervisor, accounting manager, kind of things like that. That company eventually brought me from California to Georgia, and I stayed with them for about 5 years until they closed all of our regional accounting centers and kind of outsourced a lot of the accounting functions overseas.
Interesting.
So that was kind of the first layoff I ever went through. And from there, I think is when I really started to realize that, wait a second, every industry needs accountants. So I can ride this wave through, it doesn't matter what industries are doing well or doing bad at the time. Everybody needs financial people in their business. Any business that hopes to survive or make money or do well. And so I realized this is actually kind of a great career to be in, because I worked then, without going at every level of my career, I worked in education, I worked in food service, I worked in home building. We talked about transportation. I worked for building materials, distributorships, telecom. I've worked in all of these
variety of
industries. Yeah, all of these industries supporting their accounting teams. And it was great education. I learned a lot about a lot of different types of companies and a lot of businesses by doing that.
Yeah. So did you jump around to different industries because you never really fell in love with one in particular, or did you just not really care what industry it was in and you were looking just for different jobs, or how did that come about?
So I talked about the first layoff. Well, I rode through probably 3 to 4 more of those at other companies in different industries. So I was working for a telecom company that eventually got acquired by another company out of state and split the business into 2. I worked for a large food service distributor that absorbed our part of the business into another department out of state, and was actually offered a relocation with them, but ultimately chose to decline it and look for something else because it just wasn't personally the right move for me to take. I went through at the education company, another layoff where our section of the business was sold off to another investor. So
it was just thing after thing.
Yeah, there was actually, this is kind of crazy, but there was actually a point in my career where it was like I was getting offered, retention bonuses to stay on and wrap things off, and then severance packages, and would have something else lined up where I was still getting paid from the old job and paid from the new job, which became part of my personal financial story too, because I was able to kind of double dip or, have some double income for a while. And I thought to myself, I wonder if I could just make a career out of this. If I could time this all just right, where I know these companies in 2 or 3 years are going to go under some kind of reorganization, sale. I don't know how I kind of fell into that so many times, but I'm not jaded or upset about it. I think it gave me the opportunity to get exposure to so many different businesses and industries, which is actually helpful to me now in my current self-employment role, but financially turned out to be somewhat of a lucrative offering by being able to kind of leverage what I could offer to one while moving on to something else.
Well, great. It all worked out.
It did. It's kind of funny, but it did. Yeah.
So what advice would you have for accounting majors today?
So thinking about this, I think in many ways, accounting is the same, right? It's always making sure the books are in balance and the debits and credits and doing things ethically and reporting things properly and GAAP and all of this stuff. So in a lot of ways, it's the same. But in so many ways, the industry, in my opinion, is so much different than it was when I came out of college, which was over 25 years ago, in the sense that I feel like there are so many more businesses to support and small entrepreneurships and things like that, that with the digital content creators and all of these people that are making money doing things so differently than we did 25 years ago. 25 years ago, it was you had to find an established brick and mortar business that was making enough money to be able to hire somebody to come do their accounting. And now every time I talk to somebody or turn on the corner, somebody has a need for bookkeeping or accounting assistance because they've started a side hustle or they've started a business or they're branching off several businesses or real estate investing or whatever they're doing, and they need help getting their accounting in order. And so I think it would have been fascinating if that had existed, or if I knew that existed,
Mm-hmm.
because I love being able to kind of support other small businesses and help them get organized and help them do that. So my advice would be to really keep your mind open to all of the different types of careers and opportunities there are out there. And don't be afraid to dabble in things, or to dabble in some side hustles of trying things out and trying out different industries and taking a more non-traditional path.
Well, thanks so much for sitting down with
Yeah,
me. If we want to learn more about you, where's the best place for them to go look?
So I am on Instagram at JL Books and Counts, on Facebook JL Bookkeeping and Accounting Solutions, and you can find my website at jlendeavors.com.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Wasn't that a great interview? I wanted to let you know really quickly that I'm going to be taking a break on posting videos for the summer. I'll be back with weekly videos on Monday, August 5th, and this is my last video for the semester before I let you go for the summer. While I won't be posting any more videos for a while, I'll still be around and available for summer tutoring. Shoot me an email if you want to learn more, Katherine at youraccountingtutor.com, and I'll see you in the fall. Bye!